our appreciation for all of the support that we received and continue to receive even through today. First from the city of Lewiston, secondly from law enforcement. We still have a law enforcement presence on the campus at Central Maine Medical Center. The other area hospitals that came to our support, we needed blood transferred to Central Maine Medical Center very quickly, and two of the hospitals, Maine General and St. Mary's, accommodated us. Maine Med in Portland stood by and was ready to accept patients, and as you know, they did accept one of the patients that we transferred to them. And also the various community partners that came to aid and support us last night, including emergency response personnel, personnel from Life Flight of Maine, and others. As one of the counselors said to me before we walked in tonight, you know, often people underestimate our capabilities here to care for people locally. I think last night we proved that by working together we can do just that under the most trying circumstances. Thank you.
We'll take a few questions.
Senator Collins, if she could move to the microphone. Senator, you just heard from Representative Jerry Goulden that he has changed his mind on an assault rifle ban. Would you do the same?
Well, first of all, let me say that I think it is more important that we ban very high capacity magazines. I think that would have more input and more effectiveness. We had an assault weapon ban, which I supported, that was in effect for 10 years. It applied to, I believe, 17 or 19 styles of weapons. Later, the late Senator Dianne Feinstein proposed an expansion that would have covered 157 weapons. And it was based not on functionality, but on cosmetic features. So there's always more that we can do. I was a co-author of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which provided funding, for example, for red and yellow flag laws and for mental health clinics, which I think is important as well. So certainly there's always more that can be done.
Senator, a decade ago, though, you opposed legislation that limited access to expanded, stocks and firearms capacity. Are you suggesting that you would do something different now?
I don't believe you're correct. For example, I was the lead Republican sponsor of a bill that would ban bump stocks, which have the ability to turn a semi-automatic into a fully automatic machine gun. And that legislation has not been enacted into law. There was an attempt to do it by regulation, but it was struck down by the courts. I still support the bump stock legislation. The other thing that I think we can look at is, and I advocated, was to increase the age at which you could purchase a high-capacity rifle from 18 to 21, the way it is for a handgun.
Senator Collins, you mentioned there are a lot of questions about the whereabouts of Robert Card. You mentioned a number of agencies searching for him. Can you offer any more details regarding the whereabouts of Card or how close we're getting to finding him?
I cannot, because I don't want to jeopardize the search for him in any way. I have talked extensively to law enforcement, and as I said just very recently with the FBI Deputy Director, but I certainly don't want to jeopardize the search in any way.
Senator Collins, we get a flag laws used in this case. You are a big advocate of them. Do you know if they were used in this case?
I'm sorry, I
Were
couldn't.
yellow flag laws used in this case?
To mine, I don't know. That's a very
Last
good
year
question.
You said that Maine got it right when it came to yellow flag
Maine
laws.
does have a good yellow
But
flag.
if it's true, as we are hearing, that Robert Card had mental health issues and he was, the police put him forward for evaluation, you got it wrong.
No, I don't know whether there was a report to trigger the yellow flag law. It's certainly on the face of the facts that we have. It seems. Could you let me finish, please? It certainly seems that on the basis of the facts that we have, that the yellow flag law should have been triggered if, in fact, the suspect was hospitalized for 2 weeks for mental illness. That should have triggered the yellow flag law, and he should have been separated from his weapons. I'm sure after the fact that's going to be looked at very closely. Obviously, that's a state issue, and I do not have knowledge of what happened in that instance.
Senator Collins, Mark Stone from Sky News, thank you for your time. I wonder if I could just ask you about the weapons again. Why do you think it is that you and so many other lawmakers in America believe it is right for Americans to have the right to own such high-velocity weapons?
Well, first of all, let me say, and I'll repeat it again, that for 10 years we had a ban on certain kinds of assault weapons, and I supported that ban. And when George W. Bush proposed that it be extended for 10 more years, I supported that effort, which did not succeed. Later, years later, there was an attempt by former Senator Dianne Feinstein to greatly expand the number of weapons that would be covered by that ban, and it was based not on lethality, but more on how they looked, on cosmetic features. And I did not think that that was appropriate. We do have a Second Amendment in our country.
And that gives
And-
people the right to own a weapon that powerful, you think?
And Maine, I would point out, has one of the highest rates of gun ownership in the country and has a long heritage of responsible gun ownership. It has also had a very low rate of violence. What makes this crime so heinous is in a typical year, Maine might have 22 murders, and last night we almost approached the number for the entire year.
Is anyone
Thank
here
you so much.
Is anyone here briefed on the investigation to tell us?
We
We've
cannot
seen
talk
video
about
of
the
the FBI.
investigation yet, but thank you so much, and I appreciate your patience with us and this news conference. Thank you all. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Hold on one moment.